And so this is something that we've seen being pushed a lot with the schools, with the kids and everything. It's about indoctrinating the youth, getting them on board with what's going on. And so if we look again at the policy briefs from when we started with this, I told you I'd talk about it. Transforming education. They've been doing a lot of varying things on education, but what I want to talk about is a policy brief regarding Education 2030. So this comes from the UNESCO, the UNESCO, and it's addressing conspiracy theories, and it's what teachers need to know. So this is about addressing conspiracy theories, teachers indoctrinating children. So by strapping conspiracy theory training onto the teachers, the goal is to train a child to avoid critical thinking and education exploration, which allows people to think for themselves. I remember, well, not in public school, but when I got pulled out of public school and went and started going homeschool, the goal was not to teach me everything in a book. That was something that my dad always instilled. My mom too. But the goal of my homeschooling wasn't to, I need you to learn everything in this book and then you're book smart and you can pass the test and then go out into life. No, something that my dad always instilled in me was critical thinking. You need to think for yourself. You need to be able to find answers. You don't want to just have book smart. You want street smart for the most part. You just need to be able to find answers. Don't listen to what the books are telling you. Don't listen to what the teachers are telling you. Explore. Education exploration is one of them. Basically the theme of that is, if you guys heard it, I think it was Mark Twain, who basically said, I never let schooling get in the way of my education. That's education exploration. And it's the idea of not being told what to think, but it's finding your own answers. You may have heard the term of believe nothing, question everything. That's also where that comes from. Obviously, you don't apply that to the Bible because that's the only truth that we've got. But for everything else, it certainly does apply. Believe nothing, question everything. Especially right now in the days of deception that we live. And so what this is trying to do is it's trying to, again, indoctrinate the kids by training these teachers in a way of stunting critical thinking, of stunting education exploration. We don't want the kids to be able to think for themselves. We don't want them to be able to find answers for themselves. We want them to believe exactly what you are telling them, because that's what we are telling you. And that's what the theme of this is. That's what they're trying to do with education transformation, is they're trying to make it so it's an indoctrination building. And we're seeing that already start to take place in most of the schools. It's pretty much got all of the public school, and it's getting a very large portion of the private and Christian schools as well. It's already got the colleges. The colleges, in my opinion, were the first ones to fall. Then came the regular elementary public schools, and now we're seeing the private and the Christian schools start to fall as well. And they're all falling in line with, don't think for yourself. You've got to believe what we're telling you. And so if we keep looking at this, I've got a video. I'm not even going to explain it. It's from the UNESCO about this. Just watch it. We'll talk about it.
Conspiracy theories are not true. They come in coded forms and can be difficult to detect, yet they seem to be present everywhere, on social media, in the news, in conversations with family and friends. The best defense against conspiracy theories is knowledge. Teachers can help learners to be aware of conspiracy theories, their appeal and rhetoric, before they fall for them. Teachers can also help learners to acquire the skills to spot and debunk them. This task is not easy. Conspiracy theories are complex. They play with the human psyche and can shift entire worldviews. To address and counter them, teachers need to know what they are, how they cause harm, and how to discuss them with learners without amplifying them. With this knowledge, teachers can address the fears that may lead to believing in conspiracy theories, sensitize for prejudice and biases that fuel conspiracy thinking and hate speech, warn about their rhetoric and techniques, dismantle the flawed logic behind them, and engage with learners and colleagues who are misled without pushing them further away. You can prevent the spread of conspiracy theories and the harm they cause.
Oh my, oh my. I mean, talk about propaganda, just like the I Verify video that we watched earlier. I mean, you guys want to talk about propaganda. There we go. It's so ridiculous. Sometimes I can't believe just how blatant they are with this stuff. I truly can't sometimes. It's unbelievable. But yeah, you can see exactly what they're trying to do. It's all about stunting the conspiracy theories, which we know that those are just spoiler alerts. We're batting pretty much 900. And of course, we know conspiracy theory, that term wasn't invented until right after the CIA killed JFK. And it was a way to stop people from trying to question the narrative, because that's what they do. So that's where the term conspiracy theory came from. But this is the globalization of education through the UN Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. This is about creating a global schooling environment that's about indoctrinating a child to not think for themselves. And they go through 19 pages of a document, making sure teachers are equipped to eliminate self-thinking to make sure the youth fall in line. We're going to look at a few of these pages. We're not going to go through everything, but there are some things I want to point out. This is right off the bat in the introduction. Conspiracy theory, right there. The belief that events are being secretly manipulated by powerful forces with negative intent. Typically, conspiracy theories involve an imagined group of conspirators colluding to implement an alleged secret plot. Da-na-na. Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. I mean, they described exactly what we're seeing. Simple as that. Then it says conspiracy theories can be found virtually everywhere, even where you would least expect them. BBC News reports, for instance, revealed that presence of conspiracy theories on non-English language Wikipedia enables entries on climate change. The online encyclopedia is one of the world's most visited websites. Guys, don't ever, and I'm going to make sure you get, don't ever, and I mean ever, get any information from Wikipedia. None of it. Don't believe a thing that you read on there. Even if you're looking up the recipe on how to bake a cinnamon raisin bagel, don't go to Wikipedia. That website is it is one of the most viewed websites in all of the internet, but that website is 100% controlled. There's no good information that you guys want on that website. I get none of my information from Wikipedia. Don't get anything from that website. And if you're watching somebody or listening to somebody where they get their information from Wikipedia, I'm not going to say just completely run away from them, but I would not be trusting on whatever they're saying, because that's not information that you can trust. Just don't. Avoid that website. It is not good. That's specifically why I wanted to point out that box right there, was because I don't want anybody getting information from that terrible website. Let's keep going. Right here. We're not going to read the whole thing. I just got the thing right here. Consequently, action is needed to minimize the damage caused by conspiracy theories. Okay. One important step is raising awareness and developing people's critical thinking. So this is what I'm talking about, where it's like flipping it on its head, turning it around. They think critical thinking is going along with their narrative. Critical thinking is not going with conspiracy theories, when in actuality, conspiracy theories is critical thinking. It's looking at something and realizing something doesn't add up and then going and seeking out the truth on the matter. And what they're saying is, no, that's not critical thinking. That's a conspiracy theory. Critical thinking is just going along with the narrative that we tell you. We own the science, remember? So that they are less vulnerable to being misled. Educators, whether in formal or non-formal education, can play an important role in preempting conspiracy theories by alerting learners and their existence, building learners' resilience to techniques and rhetoric commonly used to spread them, and by equipping them with media and information literacy competencies. Wow. Sorry. Education can also help to limit the dissemination of conspiracy theories by responding to them when they are shared among learners or within the wider school community. So this is about, again, trying to find various ways to eliminate the way for students to use critical thinking, to think for themselves, and to dive into education exploration. They do not want that at all. Now, if we keep looking at this thing, they've got their own definitions for the stuff. Misinformation is false or misleading content shared without harmful intent. So this is the same thing as the other document. Disinformation is false or misleading content that is spread with the intention to deceive. Then there's hate speech, which can be any kind of communication in speech, writing, or behavior that attacks or uses predatory, discriminatory language with reference to a person or group of the basis. So basically, it's just, you're racist. That's what that is. And then they've even got fake news in there. It is defined as a subset of disinformation that is false or misleading information presented as news. It's amazing how that term started becoming popular when a certain president started using it. Just throwing it out there on that one. Now, if we keep going, they got a little table here about conventional thinking and conspiratorial thinking. Now, if we look at conspiratorial thinking, I just wanted to point this out because I think it's funny. So there's the suspicion of birds are everywhere. What if the government manipulated them to spy on me? Nobody would notice. Okay, so before we even go any further, little interaction. If you guys want to throw it in the chat, how many of you have ever heard of the conspiracy theory of like the birds aren't real? They're all government-controlled entities that are built to spy on us and whatnot. I'm sure somebody has heard that before. So if you guys have heard that, throw it in the chat, thumbs up, whatever. Because I want to see how many of you actually have heard this before. Yeah, I'm already seeing people that are saying, yep. So I find it interesting that they chose this specific one. And they're talking about that the government basically owns them. What if they're actually robots and whatnot? And they're saying that that is a ridiculous conspiracy theory. But my thing of, and I'm not saying, okay, just because I already know somebody's going to take what I said and run with it. I'm not saying all birds are fake. I'm not saying that. But conspiracy theories, again, got this one right. If you don't believe me.
The whole concept behind the roe bird is that it actually mimics real life. So the idea behind it is that this is a peregrine falcon, and the peregrine falcon, especially for birds, is the most feared predator. So the whole idea behind it was, instead of using a quadcopter or a rotor-style drone, they tend to habituate to those types of drones, even pyrotechnics. Most of the bird scaring tactics that are used today are really, they're short-term. So the whole idea is that the roe bird.
Again, conspiracy theory nails another one. Now, it's not as ridiculous as all birds are manipulated by the government, but they've got drone birds built to spy on us. Now that's a plastic one. Well, they've also got ones that are, we talked about this one months ago, but I just wanted to bring it back up. They've got birds, drone birds built for spying, made from actual dead bird parts, taxidermy. This is a real thing. And again, the conspiracy theorists are right, even on something like this. It is absolutely insane. I mean, you look at this thing, and it's built from taxidermy, like real birds, and it's drones that can spy on us. A team of researchers has successfully developed drones from the bodies of stuffed birds. It's right there. So again, just this idea that conspiracy theories are ridiculous. It blows my mind, guys. And there's other ones out there too. They've got bees that can carry stuff. I don't want to get into all that stuff, but they're trying to replace real bees with these drone bees. They've got mosquito stuff. They've got other insects that can do the same thing. But I mean, birds, yeah, it's real. So I just find it interesting that was the conspiracy theory that they specifically decided to latch onto. In the document, they also mention other specific theories, like they mentioned the Plandemic documentary. They mentioned the Amazon forest fires in 2019. They mentioned 5G, 9/11, and my favorite, they mentioned Michelle Obama is a lizard person. Yeah, so they specifically mention all those in the documents as well on that one. But one place that I think is very important, especially for all you parents out there, just to see what's going on in the classroom. I know there's a lot of information about all the other stuff going on, but I just want to show you about this specifically. They're trying to place the blame on the parents. So they got the belief in a conspiracy theory rarely comes out of nowhere, especially young learners are likely to repeat what they hear at home or from close peers. At home, they're blaming you, the parents. This is an additional challenge. For example, teachers addressing the QAnon conspiracy theories in the United States reported that QAnon was a psyop. By the way, it's not a conspiracy theory, it's a psyop. In the United States reported that conversations around the issue disrupted parent-teacher relationships and led to assumptions that teachers were a part of the liberal elite, making it more difficult to change their students' minds. Yeah, because the whole goal as parents, or the whole goal as teachers, is to make sure you're not learning from your parents. No, you need to be learning from them and them alone. And they're definitely not liberal elite, of course. Should this be an issue, teachers may ask their supervisor or school director for support through a mediated conversation with parents. This, again, should come as no surprise, the attack upon parents, and they're trying to remove all rights from the parents. And so this is another one that they're placing blame on the parents. If your kid goes to school and starts talking about a conspiracy theory, it's your fault, and the teacher is supposed to take action regarding it. And just to finish this document off, they talk about different types of indoctrination games and pre-bunking apps for the kids. One is Cranky Uncle, which teaches players how to identify misleading rhetorical techniques and misinformation and all that stuff. And then they've got the Cambridge University's Go Viral game. Raises awareness about some of the most common strategies used to spread false and misleading information about the COOF. These are legit and real things. There's Cranky Uncle versus climate change, Cranky Uncle regular misinformation game. Then there's Go Viral. They are actually out there. So if you're a parent and you've got a kid who has a phone or goes online, an iPad, whatever it is, a screen of some type, be very watchful of what games they are playing. It might look cute, it might look funny, might look entertaining, but you have absolutely no idea what is getting fed through it. So be very, very watchful. Not only the TV and the internet that your kids are watching, but whatever games they're playing on their phones as well. It's because there's a lot of this stuff out there. A lot of this stuff out there. All of this is more than trying to push their agenda and their narrative. This is because the one that leads them hates and despises truth. The father of lies is the one behind this. And that's why we don't see an overwhelming just slam on just blocking, banning, and censoring everything. It's because he's using a lot of this stuff to his advantage to try and bring in his agenda, but also twist the minds of others out there. He wants to silence it, but he also wants to alter it, to pervert it, to twist it, so he can use it. That's something that Satan does. He's the imitator. He likes to turn good evil and evil good. He likes to use truth to his advantage to make it sound like it's truth, but he alters just a little bit of it to make sure that people aren't falling in line. We see this all the time in churches with the false gospels that are being presented out there, where they're utilizing a whole truckload of truth, but they're twisting certain things that make it sound good, that then take it from the good news, the true gospel, the true Jesus, and turning it into a false gospel, bad news, and a Jesus that cannot save. And that little twist, that little difference, changes all of it.